Hi everybody, my name is Becca. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm here with my first part of my January wrap-up. So what you guys don't know, because I never filmed an actual TBR for January, is that starting this year I'm going to really try not to prioritize reading as much as I have been. At least on TBRs, I have very, very large TBRs all the time, and I love it and I hate it. I love having so much choice, but I hate having so much pressure on myself because it's always just me. I see the whole list of books that I tell myself that I'm going to read this month, even though I say this is definitely not all going to get read. This is just so I have many, many options. And then I still strive to actually complete all the books, and I put so much pressure on myself to continue to keep reading, even when I'm just not in the mood to read at all or read that book specifically. And I'm just like, nope, I said I was gonna read it, so I'm gonna read it no matter what. And then it's a thing. It's a thing that I do constantly. So starting this month, in the month of January, I have made it where I only choose 10 books, at least for my TBRs. And that way, towards the end of the month, if I completed all those books, if I want to read something else that I maybe would never have actually picked up if I had more books on my list, then I'm going to do that. And that's actually what I've been doing, and it's actually really good. I was worried that this wouldn't work, and then by the time I was actually able to film at all, it was just too late to film the TBR. It was like more than midway through the month, so I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna film the TBR, it's gonna be fine. But I did read the 10 books that I had on my TBR, and then at the end of the month you'll see I'll talk about all the extra books that I have been reading. So I had 5 ebooks and 5 physical books. This isn't what's going to happen every month. Some months I'll have more physical books than ebooks. Some months I'll have more ebooks than physical books. But I always want a mix of both ebook and physical, just because I'm always constantly reading both at once. I always try to have an ebook when I have a physical book. And I have been buying just a little bit more than I have in the past, at least since I moved. I've talked about this before. Ever since I moved, I haven't really been allowing myself to buy as many books as, I used to before I moved. And then lately, things have been pretty good. And I've just been like, you know what? I'll splurge a little here and there. And I really want to get to the books that I buy for myself. And that's another thing, is that if I have so many books on my TBR, normally I end up putting off the physical books that I buy for myself, and I just continue to read the books that I may have, gotten from like Kindle Unlimited or from the library, especially. Lately I've been putting off library books completely because I'm like, I want to get to the books that I want to read right now. And if I get a library book, then I'm going to be pressured to read that book right away because it has to go in like 2 weeks. So, okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the 10 books that I read for the first part of January. We'll start with an ebook, and then we'll go physical book, and ebook, physical book. We'll try it that way. All right, so first off, we have Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is the second book in the Chestnut Springs series. The third book's actually coming out in February, and I'm really, really excited for it. And this one follows Cade, who was Rhett's brother from the first book, and Willa, who was Summer's best friend from the first book. And I loved Rhett and Summer, but Cade is a single dad, So I was like jonesing for this book. And also Willa ends up becoming the nanny for Kate's son. So it's a single dad nanny book, and I'm just like all for it. And I love Willa. She literally takes no shit, and I love it. And Kate is such a grumpy asshole, but man, it just gets me. It's a small town romance. I don't remember if it's set in Texas. It could be. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 5 stars. I love this series, and I am so excited for the 3rd book. Okay, so next up we have Barbarian Mind by Ruby Dixon. This is the 4th book in the Barbarian or Ice Planet Barbarian series, and I've said this before. I've read. I always have a hard time talking. I have read all of the books in the series, unless new ones came out, but I don't think they did. But I read it, I want to say in 2020, like when the height of the pandemic was happening. I literally took like an entire month and just read all of them. It was such a fun experience, but it was also a lot because there's more than 20 books. And they have been printing out these special editions. So every time they do, I pick it up and I read it. And so I'm really happy that I got to this one. This is Harlow and Rook's book. Harlow in the 3rd book went missing, and we don't know what happened to her. And then you find out in this one that she ended up meeting Rook. Rook is a Ice Planet Barbarian. I think the tribe is Sakwi. But he's not part of the tribe. Like, I think right when he was born, his father took him. I think his father just took him and got away from the tribe and did not come back. Told Rook before he passed, do not trust the tribe. They are bad people. Do not trust them. They will hurt you. And so Rook, all this time, has been living alone, away from everybody, trying to survive in this world on his own, knowing basically nothing. And he meets Harlow. Like, he sees her on one of his hunts or whatever, and starts resonating and doesn't really know what that is. And of course he knocks her out and takes her back to his cave. She starts resonating as well. She knows what that is, but she's just like, who are you? Like, I don't know you. What's going on? But it's really just about them living on their own together. What's it called? Trying to survive. And then also, he doesn't really know many words, doesn't speak either in his language or obviously not in hers. And I think she knows the language a little bit, but she also speaks a little English as well. I loved it. Did I give this 4 stars? Yeah. I think I've been giving like all of these 4 stars. When I first read them, they were 3 stars, but honestly, like, they're just so much fun. I have such a good time reading them. The smut is great. Like, I like it. It's 4 stars. Okay. All right. Next up, we have The Bitterroot Inn. Oh, come back. And this is by Daphne Perry. This is the 5th book in the Jameson Valley series, and this one follows Maisie and Hunter. We've known Maisie since the 1st book. She was pretty much a really main side character in the 1st one, and then has kind of like, she's been a side character through all of them, but she hasn't really like been part of a lot. Like, she comes and goes. But like, in the 1st book, there was a traumatic scene that involved her, and it was horrible. And you don't really know how she's like getting through that, because it's been quite a few years. She ended up getting pregnant. She has her baby boy. He's like 5, I think, so it's been about 5 years since then. And you don't really know how she's doing so much. Like, she keeps saying she's fine, but we all know she's really not. And then Hunter comes, and you know he has a connection to what happened. You don't know exactly what that connection is. You just know there's something. And, like, it tells you right in the beginning. And, of course, they meet, they fall in love, and it's really cute. I really enjoyed it. I like that we get to dive more into Maisie and her trauma and, like, her grief and all of that. And it's just, I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Alright, and then we have Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. This is the first book in the Four Horsemen series. This one follows, of course, Pestilence and Sarah. And Sarah... Okay, so first, I don't know when this is set. I don't know if this is like modern day or if it's maybe some years ahead, like into the future. But what we do know is that there was technology, like computers and all of it, right? But the Four Horsemen came and destroyed it all. All of it. It's just gone. And then they vanished. The minute they destroyed it all, they vanished. So now it's been 5 years, and Pestilence is back. Just him. And with him comes Plague. So Sarah is... she stays behind her village. Her village knows that Pestilence is on the way because their village is... like their town is on the way to where they believe he's going to be going. So they evacuate the entire town. She stays behind and plans to kill him. Doesn't go the way she thinks. He can't die. It's not good. And because she tried to kill him, and I mean, if he was normal, she would have succeeded. He wants her to suffer. And so he takes her hostage, prisoner, and just decides to take her with him throughout his journey. So she will suffer, knowing that her people will die. Like, all of them. Because with him comes Plague. And the Plague doesn't just swoop in and kill everybody, like, automatically. It takes a few days. And it's pretty bad. And then, of course, on the way, they meet and they fall in love, and... Or not meet. They end up falling in love. They end up communicating a little bit more, and you sort of understand what's going on with him. And then for him, he sort of understands why she is the way she is. So, I would have really, really loved this book. And I think I gave this 3 stars. No, okay. I gave it, I think, a 3.5. So it rounded up to a 4. I did, I think, really enjoy the end. But my problem is I hate Pestilence. He is such a whiny bitch. I swear. Oh my god. So the way she ends up killing him is I think she shoots him and then sets his ass on fire. And he begs her for mercy, and she won't give it to him. And of course, the one word, please, gets to him every time. So anytime she, like, begs him and says, please, he does the exact opposite of what she wants because it pisses him off. And I'm like, okay, I get it from the first maybe couple times. And I get it. She set your ass on fire. I'm sorry. What the frick? But this happens way too often. Even after you realize that he's starting to, like, kind of fall for her, he still won't give in. And like, he's really hurting her. And it's pretty bad. And I just, like, I get it. I get it. But man, every time it happened, I was just rolling my eyes. I'm like, okay, I'm just done with that kind of shit. And it happened a lot. The romance between them, I understood. Again, because I didn't really like him all that much. I was just like, nah. So it got 3.5. It's rounded up to a 4. I'm gonna read more and see how it goes, but for a first book in a series, I'm just like, it's not my favorite. All right, and then we have the 6th book in the Jameson Valley series, which is The Candle Palace by Daphne Perry. This one is a novella, so technically the last book, The Bitterroot Inn, was the last main full book. This was a novella to pretty much end the series with. And I mean, so you do have to read it at the end. Even though the characters that are together in this were already together in the series, even though you didn't know how they met or anything. So what it was, this is Milo and Sarah's book. I think her name is Sarah. I'm pretty sure. It starts, yeah, Sarah. So this is Milo and Sarah's book. Milo in the first book was single. Something very traumatic happened. And then I think it was maybe the second or third book, we started seeing Sarah and Milo together. And then they were married. And you were just like, what's going on? What's happening? Who is she? What? When did they, what happened? Which, I mean, I like Sarah and Milo together. I'm just like, what's going on? And then in this book, all of the girls from all of the past books are together for like a spa day, and Sarah is just like, I never told you how we met. Hold on, let me tell you the story of how me and Milo met, and that is how it goes. So it does make sense to have it at the end. It was just like, wow, really? Like 6 books and I'm finally finding out how they met? Like, not even hints. But okay, I'm not mad. It's fine. I gave this 5 stars anyway. It was freaking fantastic. And how many pages is it? It's not even 200 pages. I love Milo and Sarah together. Honestly, like, their story was really cute. Scary at times, but cute. And I love Daphne Perry. I had a very good time. Alright, next up we have a reread, and that is King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. I had 3 rereads. Okay. And they are all physical. So this is about a vampire king named Adrian. Yes. And he meets the Princess Isolde from a kingdom that he is trying to conquer. And her father, the king, wants to have a truce with Adrian instead of like having their kingdom conquered. And Adrian is like, no problem. You want a truce? I'll give you a truce. In return, though, I want your daughter. So Isolde then is like, fine, I'll marry you as long as you do not conquer my kingdom. Do not harm any of my people. So that's basically it. Also, like, Adrian is on the move to conquer many different kingdoms. It's not just hers. So she ends up marrying him, and I can't really talk more about what's going on. There was an assassination attempt on her. So, oh, and Isolde is planning on killing him. There was that. Isolde is, she's kind of talked into killing Adrian. So like, hey, go and marry him and then kill him. And then we're all free. But of course, instead of killing him, she ends up falling in love with him. Of course. I love that. She does actually try. So I do give her points for that. I love it when they're sent to kill them. And it's just like, I'm still gonna do it. Even if I have feelings for you, I'm still gonna try. She does try once. I will give her all the points for that. There is some things like towards the end where you find out why they have more of a connection. That's all I'm gonna say. It's my favorite part of the book. It was my favorite part of the book when I first read it, and it's my favorite part of the book when I read it again. It's one of my favorite tropes. But I don't think I talk about that trope much, so you wouldn't get it just from that. But I love them, and I can't wait to read the sequel. And 5 stars. I think the first time I read it, I gave it 4. And that's probably because I really wasn't in the mood to read that book, and then I got to the part that I loved and I was like, oh my god. But now that I was actually in the mood to read it, I gave it 5. Okay. Now we have Mercy by Sarah Kate. This is Bo, which is Emerson's son. So he's like his 20s, I think. He was also the ex of the woman from the first book. Emerson's girlfriend now. I can't think of her name. I can't think of her name at all. What is... Shit. I think her name is Maggie? Yes. Okay. So this is Maggie and Bo's book. Maggie is one of the partners of the Salacious Players Club that Emerson owns. So she's one of the co-owners. And then there is Bo, which is Emerson's son. And Emerson, or Bo from the first book, because that's really when you like actually see him, is a dick. And I hated Bo so much. You understood why they broke up, and then she went and started dating his dad. Totally get it. And in Maggie, I don't really know well. It's like she's not really there much in the other books. Like, she's there somewhat because she is one of the like people who runs the club, and she's one of the main friends, but she's not really all that there. And so I don't really get to know her until this book. And this is her finding out more about herself and Bo finding out more about himself. So they both take the kinky quiz to find out what kink they are actually into. And she finds out she's a dom and a brat tamer. And he finds out that he is a sub and a brat. And it's perfect. Match made in heaven. They start talking on the app, not realizing that it's each other, because they know each other. They don't know each other well, but they know each other. And then they meet up, I think, and realize that it's them. It's a little bit forbidden, you know, she's an older woman, he's a younger man, but it's really like, this is her one of her best friend's son. And Emerson is basically like the main boss, so it's like, oh shit. And they're, of course, trying to keep it secret, which I get. It's just, I hated Bo. I start to like him a little bit more in this book. I honestly, like, I get it. Like, I get him. I don't necessarily love Maggie all that much, but I get them together. So it wasn't my favorite. I think I still gave it 4 stars, yeah. So I still really liked the book. But I gave the other 3 5 stars each. And each one I read got better than the last book. Like, I loved each of those books. This one, it was good. Not my favorite. If I would reread the series, I probably wouldn't reread this one. So, that's my opinion. Okay. And we have Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This is another reread. Oh, and I forgot. It's okay. We'll talk about that later. I forgot an ebook that I read earlier in the month, but it's fine. That'll be the last one we talk about anyway. Alright, so I read Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This is a reread. This is about Alex, who has a dark past. And, you know, he had a tragedy happen when he was young. And then there's Ava, who also has, like, something tragic happened to her when she was young. And, her brother Josh is leaving for a year. He's going overseas. I can't remember what's going on. And Josh wants his best friend Alex to watch over Ava because she's pretty innocent, you know, she's just like, she won't know when something bad's really gonna happen. It's like, please watch over her. And Alex is just like, nah, okay, I'll do it. So it's a Grumpy Sunshine, pretty much. I really liked it. I mean, I did give it 4 stars, I want to say. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars both times. I did really enjoy their stories. You do find out more about each other. You find out a lot more about Alex. And it was good. I am excited to continue on with the series. So, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the last ebook that I completely forgot. Also, in the month of January, I was trying to focus a lot more on series. So, at least continuing on with series. So we had Barbarian Mine, that was like the 4th book in the series. I started the 4 Horsemen series of Pestilence, but that's because I did want to start that this year. I reread King of Battle and Blood because Queen of Myths and Monsters is definitely going to be one I read soon. I reread Twisted Love because I want to continue on with that story. And then I wanted to finish the Jameson Valley series with the Bitterroot Inn and the Candle Palace, continuing on with the Salacious Players Club with Mercy. Is that it? Other than this last book I'm going to talk about. Oh, Heartless was Chestnut Springs book 2. So, like, I was trying to do all the series things just because, like, why not do it now? And they're ones that I want to read. So let's do it before I stop wanting to. So the last series book I'm going to talk about is The One for Me by Corin Michaels. This is book 3. Yeah, book 3 in the Arrowwood Brothers series. I started this one last year, or like started the series last year with the first book. I think it was like the beginning of 2022. So, I mean, they do say that they're all standalone books, but you can read them all in the series. So we follow Devney. I love the fact that her name is Devney. And oh my god, I think his name is Sean. Yes. So we follow Devney and Sean. Sean is a baseball player, and Devney is his best friend. Devney was in a relationship and kissed Sean in the very beginning of this book. It was like, oh shit. Probably should not be with this other guy because I have a lot more feelings for my best friend than I thought. But we're still going through. From the very beginning, we knew that the 4 brothers made a pact when their father died. Before their father died. They made a pact when they all left. I want to say it's a small town. I could be wrong. So they all left and they were like, we're not gonna come back to this town. We're done. Anything that like keeps us in this town, don't have any relationship with. Even though they were all in love with somebody from this town. Sean was in love with his best friend, Devney. His brother was in love with his girlfriend at the time, and he broke up with her to leave. It was horrible. And then the other brother had a one-night stand. That was the first book. Before they left. Wanted to stay and didn't. So yeah, they all felt like obligated. I don't remember what the 4th one is more. I haven't read that one yet. I want to. I probably will soon. So each brother had somebody keeping him in town and was like, we're cutting off. Sean didn't cut off anything with Devney, but wanted to... Oh, hello. All is good. Stay. But wanted to stay and then didn't. And then, each brother after their father died is forced to stay in this town for like 6 months because that's in their father's will if they want to, keep the place and sell it possibly. I don't really know much. I don't really remember all that much from the first book. It's been a while. But yeah, so this one was cute. I really like the 2 of them. Hold on, I'm trying to like fix this. Stay. And I really need to... Okay. Alright, so I really like this. I gave it 4 stars. I like Sean and Devney a lot. I thought they were really cute. I really like each couple, though in the second book, the main guy, the brother, was kind of annoying me. That was the one that, like, they were dating for a while, and then he cut off everything with her. And I was just like, dude, this is so stupid. But I did really enjoy it. I'm glad I read it. 4 stars. Lastly, we have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. And this is a cozy fantasy about a witch called Mika Moon, who is so all the witches in the world and like in their vicinity don't interact much with each other except for the 3rd Thursday of the 3rd month. That's the only time they're really allowed, or they're really allowed to see each other at all, and it's for very brief moments. Just to like talk about new spells, new, anything new that's going on. And Mika is just like, well, this is stupid. We should all just like spend time with each other, but apparently it's really bad if they do. And Mika really wants to talk more about, everything, but feels like she can't really interact with anybody. So she ends up making a YouTube channel to show off her witchiness, but she's pretending to be a witch. And she like shows off her like potion making and spells and stuff like that. She just has like a good time, and she's pretty popular. And then one day a man contacts her and is like, I know you're a real witch. I want you to come to our place. We have 3 young witches that need to be taught. And she's just like, is this a freaking joke? So she ends up going, and there are 3 young witches that are not related but have been brought by another person to live in this estate and have not been taught anything to do with their powers or how to control magic at all. And Mika's like, oh shit, like technically this isn't allowed, but I'm gonna help anyway. She does find out that there is a solicitor coming to check on the estate, and they have been like, the people that have been running this estate, which is the gardener, the housekeeper, the librarian, and this older man that is married to the gardener, and they live in the cottage together. So I don't really think they all have been teaching the girls like other subjects. They just can't teach them anything about magic. So they really need Mika's help in order to help these girls control their powers, while this solicitor guy is here trying to check on the estate, while the actual owner of the estate is gone. Like, she is an archaeologist or some shit, and she has she's gone on another dig. So that's really it. And then there's a romance with the librarian. It's really cute. It's really cute. I really loved the 3 young girls. Like, they were actually pretty, I think the oldest was 8. So they were young. They also at times, which I guess is understandable. So at times they would act older than they actually were, which I guess is understandable since all of the people watching them are older. The youngest person other than the 3 living there is Jamie, who's a librarian, and he's in his 30s. Like, he's like 38. And he's more like their papa. It's so cute. Oh, it's so cute. So yeah. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. I'm really glad that I read that. And that's all the 10 books that I read. So in my next wrap-up, my last wrap-up of January, I will be talking about the rest of the books that I read in the month of January. And there have been a few more books that I have read, though I'm glad that I'm not prioritizing so much the books as I am just doing what I want, like gaming and watching TV and stuff like that. And also I'm working a lot, so it's helping the fact that I'm not forcing myself to read as much as I have been in the past. So yeah, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again with another. Bye, and happy reading.